Prepare to be amazed as two men, legally classified as vintage, compete to recall pop culture nonsense from a time when parents smoked in grocery stores and Ronald McDonald roamed free, judged and scored by artificial intelligence. Chris and Jeff sift through the glorious wreckage of a gleefully neglected childhood, hoping to find meaning. Nice pull, because if we don't remember this crap, you know damn well someone's gonna try and reboot it and make it way worse. We did it. Chris, we did it. It's happening right now.
We did what?
This is it.
What do we do?
This is the thing. This is the 70th episode.
Oh.
We made it to the 70th episode, and by God, now I can stop harping on what episode it is. Now, from here on out, we can just live with the fact that we hit this milestone. We don't need to go into why I care. It's just, it was a big deal, man. And having this under my belt and your belt and our belts, our shared belt, whatever that is, I think it's a great thing, man. I'm excited. Are you excited as I am, Chris? Just pretend you are.
I am. Let's hear it for arbitrary numbers and move on. Congratulations to us, because nobody else gives a tiny rat's ass. So
I think there's a few people that give the tiniest rat's ass about episode 70.
A few.
I have
little
been
bit.
really, yeah. Thank you. Oh, nicely done. I've been hyping this like crazy. So we did it, guys. We're at episode 70, whatever that means. Let's take a quick look at what happened in the sexy episode, episode 69, which actually turned out to be an in memoriam episode where we mourned the death of a whole bunch of people that are our age or a little bit older. But damn it, it was supposed to be the sexy episode, like I said.
Yes.
We still need to do a sexy episode. Damn it.
Yes. If you found the topic matter for this, the subject matter for this episode particularly provocative, that'll be another episode entirely. But yeah, let's see where we ended up.
I did a few polls that also helped me. One of them was, I'm kind of under my breath, I talked about Daffy Duck and how he had as an expression, brown as a nut and fit as a lass. And that meant that you were just doing great. I think that means that you had a tan and you were in good physical shape, but again, borderline. I get the sense that there's some non-PC stuff somehow in that, but AI was very impressed that I would know that Daffy Duck said that.
Right.
Also, the spin-off of Dukes of Hazzard, which was Enos, not to be confused with Cletus or any of the other guys that had the us or the os at the end of their name. But yeah, that was definitely a deep pull. And then what I really got lots of digital adulation from, by the way, it's Digital Adulation, one of the Rush albums, or am I wrong?
It is. It was right after. It was in between 2112 and Permanent Waves, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like a Yes album somehow. Digital Adulation. Oh no, Gary Newman. That would be a Gary Newman album. Digital Adulation. Yeah. Okay. So I was spinning yarns about being on a bus, going to the beach as a kid because I had no car, and we talked about Ozzy Osbourne, our good buddy Ozzy, who passed away. And then I was talking about Alice Cooper and all of these urban legends that I was hearing on the bus about all the things that Alice Cooper was doing, allegedly, right? It was disgusting. You go back to the episode if you want to hear, but it was gross. Anyway, AI was very impressed. So Chris, let's go ahead and see who won. It was a very tight race. Let's take a look. You know what? I'm okay with that again. I felt like I was going to win. This is the first time that I thought I was going to edge you out, but it was just too many super obscure references on the core of the show, which is name that guy, that actor, that producer, that writer, that TV show. I strayed from the formula and went off on my own personal stories, and I paid the price.
No, it was a hard-fought battle, Jeff, and all I can say is keep working hard, keep pushing through, don't give up. Good things will happen.
Normally, I would listen to that advice. Hey, man, you didn't win the 220-yard race. Just keep
Ooh, the
practicing,
220. That's a
dig
good
deep.
one. Yeah.
Maybe do some, I don't know, because when I was a kid, there was the 220 and the
Mhm.
440,
And the
totally
880.
arbitrary.
Yeah.
Yeah, and was
Well,
there 880? Okay.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was the yes.
In the Junior Olympics, that's what I had to deal with. But how do you study harder to know insignificant things in your head? Hey, get more shit in your brain that nobody gives an F about.
Right.
Keep doing it, man. Keep doing it. Like, how, how would you even train for that?
Just
I don't even know.
well, again, just scroll through just, do what I do. Just, go go to bed, look at Wikipedia before you
No,
get out bed, and
no.
scroll through the
Oh,
main
Chris,
menu on Tubi, and the things will just pop into your head. No, I don't know. I wish it's not a blessing, it's more of a curse.
I I wish, I know you're being sarcastic, but I wish that was your actual process. Like, if there was a show about Chris, like a documentary, and we would see him right before he goes to bed with the glow of the laptop on his face as his wife is like, "Please God, just can you just go to sleep?" And no, no, not Chris. He's
Mhm.
scrolling, right? He's doom scrolling and he's
Right.
looking at all of the different TV shows and stuff and
Bookmarking.
trying to, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
memorizing it. And then
Uh-huh.
on his wall, he's got all the yarn and the little pegs, and just like the conspiracy guy, but connecting the dots with every single fucking
There's
show
like
we all forgot
there's
about.
like
Yeah,
newspaper clippings,
yeah,
all the and magazine articles and all this, and it's like not even necessarily conspiracy theory. It's also like a serial killer does the same thing, right? You've
right.
got
Yeah, I
like
was gonna say,
you've got like
yeah,
an article of clothing that they left behind. Oh, a scarf that somebody dropped. Yeah, that whole
yeah. It
yes,
it it should be a cold case from the 1970s that somehow connects
right,
to the Zodiac killer, but
right.
instead, Chris is still trying to actively find out who Larry Wilcox was talking about that had a alcohol and a drug problem while he was on the show Chips. He can't let it go. He
Narrowed
can't
it
let it
down,
go.
right? We think I've narrowed it down, but, due to legal reasons, we have to keep that to ourselves. But, yeah, absolutely, and then
Yeah.
the 2, investigators on the case, break in, maybe they don't have a warrant, and they stand in front of
Oh,
that
they never
wall
do.
in my house,
No, they never
and
do.
they're going, "Jesus, it all makes sense now." That's it.
Chris, let me just ask you one last question. Would your neighbors describe you as quiet and the kind of guy that kept to himself?
I don't know about that, but, yeah, they would describe me all right. Let's just leave it at that.
Quiet? No. He would go on and on to any fucking person that even looked at him.
Right.
Kept to himself? No, not at all. He was the first guy to yell at every single kid that turned around in his driveway as they were, yeah, no, this guy was, it makes perfect sense that this is what finally happened.
Like that old joke from that old joke from Saturday Night Live when John David Stubbs shot buckwheat. Remember that whole thing when they and it was like the whole
Oh
punch
yeah,
the whole punchline was like, "Oh, he was
I
great.
totally
He
forgot.
was great. He was nice. He would help me at my house and he was nice to my kids." And like, "Do you think he could have shot buckwheat?" "Oh yeah, absolutely." Every answer was
Well, there you go, everybody. That's all the time we have for this episode. Episode 70 was amazing. I want to thank the sponsors, of whom we have none. By the way, Chris, before we
yes.
jump into the topic for today, which
Mhm.
is a great topic, it's something we've kind of touched on, but now we're gonna do a deep dive, which of course is the only
Yes.
thing we ever do on this show. Um, I wanted to I wanted to check in on one of our, mm, I don't know. I was gonna say it's not a coworker. It's not really
No.
even a colleague.
No.
This is just a man who Chris and I found. This gentleman, Larry, last
Mhm.
name Lupree, has been helping us, believe it or not, on the side promote the show, try to get us some more traction. Nowadays, it's not easy. There's trillions of podcasts. Let's be honest. If you're my age, middle-aged white dude who likes IPAs,
Yeah.
I'm already so far in the douche zone that it's beyond imagination. And now add, oh, do you have a podcast? What a
Of
shock. Do
course.
you like to hear your voice? Oh, how
Yes.
weird. Yeah. But we found a guy and it hasn't been going well. Just to put it bluntly, right? To say that he has made some mistakes along the way in how he has repped us is an understatement. So thank God we haven't pumped a bunch of money into this, but every once in a while, we do have to check in with Larry just to see what the hell's going on. Larry, can you hear us?
Hey, how you doing?
Have you been listening in? Did you hear what I just said?
Look, I made some mistakes back in my early days of the entertainment industry, I admit, but they're minor mistakes. Minor, I just trying to help out these celebrities. I encouraged McLean Stevenson to leave MASH. Big deal. I encouraged Shelley Duvall to leave Taxi. She could do so much better. But I was wrong. Okay, I encouraged the Brady Bunch to go do that variety show in the late 70s. Except Eve Plummer, Jan, she said, F you, Lupree, I ain't doing that shit. I'm going to art school. I just don't see that you guys appreciate what you've got here. All right, decades of experience, and I don't think you respect me.
Okay, my dad used to say, respect is earned, not given.
Do you know this about my past? I'm the guy who, back in the 1970s, pitched the first idea to the movie studios to come up with a Marvel Comics The Avengers movie. I thought, hey, hear me out. Danny Bonaducci as the Hulk. He's a little rage monster. Perfect casting, okay? You got Joanne Worley as Black Widow. Flip Wilson as Black Panther. You got Billy Barty as Ant-Man. You don't even need any special effects. He's already tiny, okay? And here's one that just writes itself. Alan Alda as Hawkeye. Hawkeye playing Hawkeye. It writes itself.
Dude, no, seriously, we're done. And no more emailing me ridiculous promotional ideas. Okay. What do you have going on now that we hit episode 70 on our own, I might add? We're the reason we got to episode 70, right? So what's the plan, man? What's the plan going from episode 71 on?
What you guys need to do is let me book you as the opening act for the Corey Feldman World Tour. Hear me out. He's about to embark on a European tour. He just finished 2 shows in New York City's Madison Square Garden. 38% of the seats were sold out. I got him that gig, all right? Night number 2. Halfway through the show, he brings Yoko Ono on stage, and they do some Beatles duets. It was pure magic. So now I'm rebranding the tour the Ono Feldman Experience, and you could be a part of that. Sit, think about it, get back to me, and let me know what you think. Or you can tell me right now.
Okay, we'll get back to you on that, Larry. Okay? Just sit tight. Keep checking your email. Sit by your landline and just wait, okay?
So
Uh,
Larry Lupree, everybody. That was Larry Lupree. And Chris, I will say, in his defense, I would actually like to see Corey Feldman live. I don't think I could handle a Yoko Ono, Corey Feldman, Tiger Team combo, but
Ugh,
I've seen
ugh.
some of his clips on the interwebs, and it
Uh-huh.
is entertaining, to say the least. So maybe we can even get Corey on the show at some time to talk
Mhm.
to us a little bit. But that would actually, am I wrong? That'd be good, right?
That'd be
Corey
a nice
Feldman.
that'd be
No?
a nice poll.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice
Yeah.
poll. He played the House of Blues not too long ago. I mean, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm not so sure about
Yeah.
Yoko, but, and I'm not sure about Larry, so let's just see what he can pull off. But, okay, so Jeff, I think one of the core tenants. Do we have tenants? Tenants, not tenant like we're renting, not like Jack and Chrissy and Janet. Although we may talk about them. But one of the tenets of this shows, we've made references probably in every episode up to now about something that, well, essentially the kind of sticks out is we found interesting or humorous or really funny back when we were kids, and now we're no longer kids and time has passed and attitudes have changed and social mores have changed. And all of a sudden, those things, not all of a sudden, but those things that we thought were funny, those things that made us laugh, those things that we didn't really give a second thought to, haven't held up. And there's even a certain, and again, we've talked again about sharing movies and TV shows and things with as parents with our kids, and our kids kind of look at us like, Why is this funny? So today, a little bit more of a focus on what we like to say or we like to call things that didn't age well. And again, we've talked about a few of these in passing, but today a deeper dive, a deeper pull into certain things, TV shows, movie characters, or even lines or plots or song lyrics that didn't age well. You've got a few, I've got a few. So here we go. So a very special episode. That's something that didn't age well as something, but a very special episode of Nice Pull.
Why was
Thing
it always Blossom, by the way, on a very special episode? Wasn't it always on Blossom, the very special? I never even seen an episode of Blossom, but I always remember the on a very special Blossom. Or
because
am I wrong?
those back at because that's how literally okay, that's a great jumping off point because those
Yeah.
very special episodes, they were called very special episodes, right? They were advertised, whether it was TV Guide, whether it was that voiceover, Thursday on a very special episode. It's like they had to draw you into the fact that, hey, this isn't just 24 minutes of comedy. There's a message, there's a theme,
There's a lesson, a
a
warning.
lesson. People are going to hug, and the audience is going to go, ah, at the end. Or maybe somebody may even die or something. It's a very
Right.
special episode getting your attention. And maybe at the same time, maybe even at the end, there was a PSA. If you know
Yeah.
somebody with a drug problem, call, you know what I mean? It was like, and they're in character and they're on this. So the
Yeah.
very special episodes, although you could make an argument that After School Specials was an entire series of very special episodes, right? Because
That's all they
they
were.
all had a
Yeah.
theme, they all had a character in trouble, they all had a lesson to be learned. Very special episode. So so yes, you mentioned Blossom, and again, yes, I don't know much. I was not a Blossom fan. I didn't know anything about
Yeah. Me
but I did
neither.
know the
Yeah.
character. I did know or I didn't know the character of Blossom. I did know there was a character that would say like "whoa" or something like that, right? And like that was like his really bargain basement sort of, Fonzie-like catchphrase. So, very special episode. So I'm gonna start off with a very special episode, and there was a couple of them, right? There was a very special episode of Family Ties, and this very special episode of Family Ties was special for a couple of reasons. Because in retrospect, Tom Hanks was a guest star. Do you remember Tom Hanks when he was just sort of maybe post Bosom Buddies, still doing spots on Love Boat? Hadn't really, hadn't obviously done Big or Splash or anything like that.
Splash.
He was still just Tom Hanks, and that guy's got a lot of potential. Tom Hanks was on a very special episode of Family Ties, which had more than their share of very special episodes when you look back on it. And he was an alcoholic. He was a super cool guy. He came in. He's married to Baxter Bernie's younger brother, I think, Uncle Ned. Ned. Now that hasn't aged well. If you any kids down the street named Ned, probably not.
No.
Maybe a beagle, or maybe a cat. I don't know. And apologies to any Neds out there.
Not a lot of Sal's, not a lot of, Edgars. Yeah. No,
Hey,
you're right.
hey, I was at a I was at a party once, at my wife's family, in Brooklyn. It was in a basement, which was cool in itself. Not 1, not
Okay.
2, but there were 3 Sal's in that room. So
Yeah.
Sal's is a
Well,
different show.
you don't get to tell that story because you were in Brooklyn,
Okay.
right?
Hey,
Everyone is named Sal in
well,
Brooklyn.
there was 3 Sal's in
Mostly
this
named
room.
Sal.
There was 12 guys
Yeah.
and 25% of them were named Sal, Anyway,
You can
Uncle
call me Sal.
okay,
No, that's
thank
not
you.
it.
No,
No,
that's
that's not it.
definitely
No,
not
that's
it.
not the right. No.
So, Uncle Ned was this cool happening. He was Alex Keaton's like hero because he was involved in like finance and made a lot of money, and he was a drunk. And that
Mhm.
sort of came out as he spake. And again, this has to think about this. This is crunched into like a half-hour episode, right? Uncle Ned comes in. He's a hero. Everybody's as exciting before to see him, and then before you know it, he's drinking vanilla extract because there's nothing else in the house for him to drink.
By the way, let's oh, I was gonna say we've all been there. No, you know what? That's probably me revealing too much information. Okay. Go ahead, Chris. I'll let you have the show back. I
Yeah,
apologize.
not a problem, not a problem. Maybe we have to again, we have our own very special episode about getting loaded off vanilla extract. So again, so he's drunk, and then Alex yells at him, and then like he actually there's almost a physical confrontation, and he's going to get thrown out unless he agrees to get help. And by the end of that episode, Uncle Ned is back on track, going to go seek help. fix his problem and then go conquer Wall
Yeah.
Street again.
And on that episode, I do remember the episode. I also remember Family Ties having
Mhm.
a real sharp wit, and there was that the only reason I watched it, well, was two things. Number one, yeah, the jokes for Michael Keaton were top notch. The
Mhm.
dad, Steve Gross, you could have just made him a throwaway character. It's the dad,
Right.
the second fiddle to
At third
yeah,
fiddle. Yeah.
but Steve Gross is so mother effing funny, and his dry delivery and the back and forth with him and the family. Just I'm sorry, I'm on a side trip here,
It's
but
Michael
I
Gross
think I've done this
actually, but that's
before.
okay.
I just want to get extra. What's it? Sorry, Michael Gross.
Michael Gross, yeah.
I called him Steve again.
Stephen
I
Keaton.
lost the
You're
poll.
you're
I
you're
lost the
mixing no, you're mixing the
yeah,
characters. That's okay.
yeah.
Continue.
Okay, so it's Theo Huxtable, not Cleo Huxtable. Got it. It's a sketch and not a skit. All right, I'm
Okay.
slowly
Y
learning. And
Put
and it, no,
down
I mean, Chris, thank God you're here. Yes, Michael Gross. And anyway, what's my point in all of this is I loved those guys, and the other reason I loved it was at the time I don't think I've ever had a bigger crush than I did on the character Mallory, right? I just there was something about her. I don't know what it was, but I was in love with her. But that's the only reason I could watch the show because not her fault. She's a very wonderful woman. I'm sure she's an awesome person. But Meredith Baxter Burney, I,
Mhm.
I I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I feel like she's in the Bonnie Franklin world of maybe coming across as a over actor. Like maybe things just didn't. Is that wrong to say? I don't know.
Mhm.
But anyway, you just got me off on a side tangent. My apologies. Back to the
Mhm.
original scheduled programming. But I think even Tom Hanks kind of overacted a little bit in that scene where he's just
Mhm.
like he's about to hit Alex or something crazy, and it
Mhm.
was
Right.
I was like 30% too much drama in terms of the acting versus what the scene called for. Who am I, a
Mhm.
director? No, but that was my take on it.
Mhm. No, you're
Well,
absolutely
that felt
right.
good to get that off my chest, Chris. Thank you.
Right. Well, and I think maybe, and this is another topic, maybe the over actor, you kind of hit on something if Meredith Baxter Burney or Bonnie
Sounds
Franklin
like a
or
serial killer if she was a woman,
Meredith, three
because you
names,
always have to have the three. You have to have the
three
three names.
names,
Yeah,
right?
Meredith Baxter Birdie
Meredith
on the
Baxter
next
Burney.
cold case. Nobody expected the wife.
I think they overacted, and I think probably because they went into those shows thinking and probably being told they were the star, right? And then you're not, as the series progressed and as, the plots and the characters developed, clearly Michael J. Fox was the star of that show eventually, right? I
Sure.
mean, and he was and everything kind of revolved around his character. And you could probably say the same things with, a show like One Day at a Time or wherever else where it was just like, no, you're the mom, you're the main character, and then the kids and Schneider coming in with his, with the super who had the key to everybody's apartment, that kind of stuff. Those characters became bigger, and
Yeah, that was
it's
interesting. Yeah,
and the plots
yeah.
revolved around them. And it's like, hey, I know you might be first in the credits. You're not the star. Nobody tuned in to watch the Tom Bosley show, right? But I think at that time he was at first, Tom Bosley thought, hey, man, I'm the dad.
Another good point,
Or
Chris, is the show Alice. Alice, the main character, was the most boring character on the show. It was all about
Mhm.
Flo and was it Vera? No, I can't remember. But
Vera
anyway,
and
and
Mel.
and Mel.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, so many shows were like that, where the main character I would even say Seinfeld. The most boring character on the show was Seinfeld. He was just surrounded by
Right,
lunatics, right?
right,
And so
right.
that's what made anyway, whatever, we can
And
get into that.
Alice
But yeah, yeah.
Alice, based on a Martin Scorsese movie. I mean, I think that's the craziest part.
I
A
know, right?
serious drama about a single
Yeah,
mom, moving west and trying to, improve her life. And
yeah.
Vic Tayback actually played Mel, same character. That's like, hey, Vic, we know you were in this serious drama directed by Martin Scorsese, but we're going to make like a comedy version. Okay? But you
Yeah.
can wear that hat and scream pickup and insult the waitresses. What do you think? And Vic Tayback's like, sure. So
He always
anyway,
looked like somebody that I would have cast on Barney Miller as a grizzled detective. That's
Or
where I would cast him. Yeah.
he was always really relatable because he was definitely that angry dad down the street who you didn't wanna, you know what I mean? You didn't wanna walk on his grass. You didn't want to if you guys were playing touch football in the street, you better move when he came, driving around the corner. So,
My
absolutely.
my favorite line in the movie Clueless, I've said it before, where the guy's about to leave on a date with, with Alicia Silverstone, and the dad goes, "I want her home by 10. I have I have a gun and a shovel. I doubt anyone would miss you." Oh my god, so good. Well, Chris, I apologize. Let's get back to the topic at hand.
So a very special episode. Do you have, is there one that sticks out on your mind? Is there a show or a plot or a character? Again, because again, Family Ties had that. Family Ties had one where like Alex's best friend dies. However, it wasn't Skippy. This was like some throwaway character where some guy got killed in a car accident or something. I was like, I don't ever remember this character, right? And one where and so then Alex had to go into therapy. Those were very special episodes. But something jump out again. I mean, I can think of a lot of shows that had just built in, okay, it's time, or that part in the season, it's time to whip out the very special episode.
Yeah, no, it happened a lot, and I think even in Family Ties, I remember another episode where he had a buddy of his that had cancer, and Alex
Mhm.
couldn't come to grips with the fact that his friend was dying of cancer. Yeah, no, so I honestly, I can't think of any of those that come to mind beyond what I just talked about, but it was
Mhm.
common, right? Years later, they had I do remember a, uh, sorry, Tool Time, that show.
Tim
You know what
Allen,
I'm talking about. Thank
Home
you, Tim
Improvement.
Allen.
Home
Home
Improvement.
Improvement. That's the '90s, right?
That's
That's not
not.
the '80s.
That's right, right.
But, his son thought he had cancer in that show, and I remember that being a very special episode, right? And,
Mhm.
and then Dana Carvey, who had a sketch comedy show that went up against that episode one evening. And they
Mhm.
literally said, as they were announcing the schedule for the night, right, kind of a
Uh-huh.
TV guide type of thing,
Uh-huh.
they showed the very special episode, and the kid doesn't want to die, and he thinks he has cancer. And then
Mhm.
it goes, and followed by the Diet Draft Root Beer Dana Carvey Show. So the juxtaposition was just off the hook. The
Right,
Diet Draft
right,
Root Beer, no, the
right.
Diet Mug Root Beer Dana Carvey
Right,
Show,
right, right.
and cancer.
And
Yeah.
cancer, I guess, and
Um,
I think that's the whole point, right? I think that's why these very special episodes, I I don't think they again, we don't watch a lot of everything. You're very well, on the record that you don't even watch traditional television. You don't commercials or episodic, everything is streamed and movies and whatnot. But I think they definitely got away from, that's something we don't do anymore. Because again, like you said,
yeah,
it takes you out of the world you're in. And why? It's like I don't tune into this show to be lectured, to be reminded of terrible
yeah,
things happening, to see them happen, and then to baby I think maybe to get resolved all in the span of like 30 minutes. We all know we make jokes, constant jokes about the episode of Different Strokes where there was like the guy who owned the bicycle shop, and he was he was a Mr. You know what I mean? And it was Mr. Carl, it was Gordon Jump playing this part. Gordon Jump from
yeah,
WKRP in
yeah,
Cincinnati, and
yeah, yeah,
giving Arnold and Dudley wine and all this kind of stuff. And it was like, what? And they're gonna
yeah.
play Neptune in the bathtub and take off their shirts. And it was like, holy hell, man, this is not what I want to see.
It
You
it
know,
it almost makes you wonder, was that really whatever the guy was behind the scenes that wanted that episode to happen, was it really about that? Or was it really about getting, people to take off their shirts? I mean, you do sometimes kind of wonder, right? It's, especially with some of the stuff that's happened later on with Nickelodeon and shit, you're just like, "Good lord,
right, right.
what is happening here?"
Right,
Yeah,
we talk
yeah,
about these what writers' rooms, so so someone pitches that idea, and you go,
yeah. I think it's about time we talked about this. Look, it's a serious subject, don't get me wrong, but maybe Different Strokes isn't the best vehicle. I don't know. It's just
"You got anything else?" You know? "You got anything else?" What else? Maybe let's talk about that. Let's table that. Yeah.
and Chris, if I'm not mistaken, on Good Times, there was an episode that was treated like a very special episode, and it had to do with, oh my god, the father of the family on Good Times, he died, and then the whole thing was everyone is in mourning, everyone is in shock. as I recall, he died kind of instantly, like a heart attack, like no
They
warning.
got like a
Yeah.
telegram that he died in a car
Oh,
accident. Yes,
a
like the
telegram. Oh my God.
telegram.
Okay. Okay. So that's wow. What a
Mhm.
shitty way to find out. And well,
The
is that
70s.
the shitty way to find out, Chris, or is it worse when knock knock, and the cops are just looking
Right,
at you with that look?
right. Is there a good
Sorry,
way to
ma'am.
find out?
What's the first thing you do when that person shows up at your house? You start to run an inventory in your mind of who's actually here that's alive, so you can kind of narrow it down. Like, what's he going to say? All right, so Jimmy J.J. Walker is not in the house right now, and neither is my husband. Which one of them is dead? Right? Anyway, maybe the telegram is better now that I think about it. But and then Chris, help me out here.
Uh-huh.
The awesome actress that played the mom,
Esther Roll.
of
Esther
course.
Roll,
Well,
yes.
her name is Esther, and I was gonna say Williams, and that's a lady that swam in a bunch of those choreographed. Good God. Chris, you're
Mhm.
gonna win every single episode now. My brain
Okay,
is finally tanked.
that's okay.
Anyway, she wasn't grieving for
No.
him, and everyone was kind of freaked out that she's very
Mhm.
calm the whole time, and she's giving everybody food, and then at the very end, she smashes
Punch bowl.
the whatever
It's like a
the
big
punch
or like
bowl,
a big
yeah.
punch bowl, yeah.
Yeah, and then just goes into, hysterics. But anyway, that was really pinnacle. That was a big episode. Another
Mhm.
one that was a very special episode, now that I think about it, was in MASH, where you find out, speaking of, our buddy Larry, who talked him into leaving the show, McLean Stevens, right? You find out that his chopper was shot down and there were no survivors, and it just ends there, and everyone's just kinda looking at each other. And I remember my parents watching that show, and I saw it when it first aired. We're all in the living room, and my mom is like, yeah, totally. My mom is like, now, why would they do that? They don't need to do that.
Mhm.
He's off the show already. Why did they have to kill him? And my dad was just so upset by the whole thing. He walked out and walked upstairs and didn't want to talk to anybody for a while. And it's like,
Really?
wow, that show had an impact, right? It's almost as bad as when the Chargers used to lose back in the day, and everyone's just like in a foul mood, right, for that rest of that Sunday and partly into Monday. Yeah, McLean Stevens, yeah, he really hit it on the old heartstrings there,
Yeah, and I
Chris.
think and that was one of those ones, yeah, because absolutely, um, I know the backstory on this. Yes, he wanted to go off on his own show, and so they did 2 things is number 1, they killed him off to show war, right? Because they had this big send off and how and this show was all just the show was the show eventually became an allegory for the Vietnam War, right? But at the
Of
time
course, yeah, yeah,
they wanted to show that it's it's war. And these guys had all these crazy hijinks and everything else going on at this surgical hospital, like near the front lines. But they also so they wanted to show that, but they also were gonna give McLean Stevenson a big FU to like, "Yeah, guess what? You ain't coming back." Right? There's gonna be no more references to your character. There's no chance. It was like, "This is your" you guys say, "We're killing your character." To show, you know what I mean? To not even, to the specter of guest star appearances or guess what? He's been sent back, whatever. So it was a big FU to show, guess what? You're gone. We're going to take you out of the conversation completely. So
yeah,
I think those are the thing. And again, that was a very, I mean, I think, oh man, very special episodes of MASH. It was almost like every week turned into
yeah.
again,
Oh
especially because
yeah,
we're
yeah,
showing where they took the laugh track away, right?
yeah.
Laugh tracks. That's something again, when you look back at it, it's like, what the hell is this? Why am I watching a show and I'm watching a show that other people are watching, and I can hear them laugh, or I could hear them like hoot and holler when the Fonz makes an entrance, or when Lenny and Squiggy burst in and go, hello, and everybody goes, woo, and they have to literally, like, they can't even, they have to wait for the audience to stop cheering before the actor can give their next line. Laugh tracks. It's like, thank God those don't exist, but they went all the way back from like, because they would even tell you, filmed in front of a studio audience. It's like, I don't need to hear that. And every show and those went on for, I wanna say, into the '90s, into the 2000s when they finally stopped doing laugh tracks because it's like, it's also, is it supposed to tell me that's funny? You know what I mean? "Oh, that's a funny line. I'm supposed to laugh because I'm an idiot," and so that definitely when you look you want a show that's aged, even though shows still like Friends, which again was made for the '90s to like the early 2000s, right? Even those shows still kind of had, and I want to say there's still probably some sitcoms out there, but then when you saw the ones that really evolved and took it to the next level, like The Office or something like that, they stopped that. It's like, yeah, no, there's no laugh tracks here. And thank God there are no laugh tracks anymore.
Well, you say that, but I mean, well into the 2000s, they are using laugh tracks. If they're using laugh tracks on some sitcoms as we speak, right? One of the more famous ones I have, 2 brothers. They are, baby boomer age. So I kinda skipped a little bit of a generation there. I came later on in life, Chris, I've mentioned this. My mom would call me a pleasant surprise. I know it was a, very shocking mistake, and I'm lucky to be here. But anyway, let's
My
just
mom called
say,
me the caboose. Okay,
okay.
because
Yeah.
again, much like I know again to take a step, a step aside. Your brother's much older than you. Okay, let me ask you real quickly because I don't think I ever have. How far apart were your brothers in age?
They're only 3 years apart, but they're 13 and 16 years older than
Right,
me.
right. My
Yeah.
siblings were like 15 months apart, and then I came 7 years later. So my mom would refer to me as the caboose, and I'm like, "What the f is a caboose?" Oh, I get it. I'm at the way end of the baby train. I don't know. That didn't age well, mom. Did not age well. So anyway,
No, I still think my version of how things went for me is way better than what you just said, though. No,
I'm not going to argue
don't
with you.
we're both no, we're
Uh,
both yeah, we both definitely have, the same situation, and,
uh
my brother, Gary, he is especially sensitive to laugh tracks, and really, when you think about it, laugh tracks are just like a TV series where if it goes on for too long, your brain suddenly realizes, oh, this is just the same thing over and over again. And eventually you just kind of eject out of it. And you're like, I can't watch that show anymore. I'm now bored. My brother had that thing happen with his brain where you now are super conscious of the laugh track and it's just annoying because to your point, that's all it ever was supposed to be. It's a cue to the home audience in television land to think that it's funny and to know what was a joke and to laugh with them. And yes, Happy Days filmed before a studio audience, all the way up to more recently, The Big Bang Theory filmed in front of a studio audience. Okay, I'll give that to
mhm.
you. I'll even give you that you recorded these audience reactions during an actual performance of the show. So they're sincere, legitimate reactions. What I won't give you is blah, blah, blah every 5 seconds. And it sounds like the same clip every single time. And once you become conscious of it, like my brother, you're out. He could no more watch 10 minutes of that show than, you know, needles in the eyes. It's like me with commercials. Can't do it. And he's right. It's super effing annoying to hear a laugh track.
And
Yeah.
and here's the thing, once I got a little bit older, probably not that much older, this is filmed in front of a studio audience. They laugh. But and I know that every scene, it's not, does a show does not take 30 minutes to film, right? It takes hours. They cut, we got to do this again, or they reblock the scene, or they got to shoot a different angle. So when somebody is laughing, that's not the first time they heard that punchline, right? It's maybe the fourth time they've heard. So to me, it's like, man, this is part of the performance. They have applause signs, laugh signs, all this kind of crap. So to me, it's like, man, when you take a step and look back, yeah, that really sucks. That's really part of the whole facade. And to me, it's just like, okay, I get it. I just looking at it, and yeah, you're right. I think some of the shows still, again, I don't think there's, again, the best shows, the best comedies are like to me, or again, like The Office or Parks and Rec, or there's one, that's another one, that's again, that they're like the reality handheld camera sort of kind of thing that are,
Yeah.
that kind of show. There's no laugh tracks, but they're comedies and you know when to laugh. Right. So, but not, so laugh tracks definitely did not age well.
Do you know what I love about this episode as we wind down episode 70?
Hmm.
we were supposed to talk about things that are, didn't age well, that are inappropriate. And we really just talked about, you know, very special episodes and laugh
Uh-huh.
tracks.
Uh-huh.
Now, I take full blame for that. We had a whole different agenda, Chris, at the beginning of this episode. We had a list of things that did not age well, that are not politically correct by today's standards. And I effing railed this entire episode. But I will stand by my thing I did and say
Uh,
that everything we just said now, then, it had to be said by somebody, Chris. We have to get this out in the open. We
mhm.
we had to go over those very special episodes and really air this out. Would you not
Eh,
agree?
I would agree, and I think you can make the argument, Jeff, that our list of things did not age well, did not age well. It did not even make it to the end of this
It
episode.
did not. It
So,
it expired. It expired 2 minutes into the episode. That's how poorly it aged.
I blame myself.
No, you
I
should
blame
blame yourself.
I
You know
blame
what I'm like. Why would you let me go down these left turns like this? You know what I'm like.
because
Oh my god.
as long as you don't set me on fire, as long as you don't drive to the edge of a cliff, um, as
Or
long
just
as
jump off it.
you jump off it, um, as long
Yeah.
as you don't make me dress up like Robin in a, whatever it was, Honda Prelude painted to look like the Batmobile, I'm here. I'm here for
Or
the ride, Jeff.
or just get into a random fist fight because you were being a smartass. These are all things that I don't want you to do, Chris. And I'm glad you're not following my example. So
I
thank God.
I
Yeah,
haven't
that's right.
I haven't thrown a
You
rock at anybody in years, okay?
you
Years.
are the lifeguard of this show. You absolutely, you have no problem blowing the whistle. And a lot of times, Chris, I do need help. I need to put my feet on the ground and walk towards the shallow end. You got to make sure
Everybody out of the pool.
everybody out of the pool. Exactly.
All these episodes in, if you have not gotten used to, us jumping on one track and then getting almost immediately derailed, then you really haven't been listening. So, yes, I don't know what to say. No laugh tracks, no very special episodes, and, sorry about that, McLean Stevenson. You really should have, given it a second thought. So, until next time, Jeff.
Until next time, Chris.
Nice